If you want to celebrate the victories and you want to take the responsibility for the victories, then you have to be willing to step up to the plate and also take responsibility for the failures and the problems that take place. He represents a large percentage of young people that are in that age group right there, where they just left high school or they just left college and they're out there trying to figure it out and they're working, and they just don't really understand how to properly find the situation that matches up with their skill set and their personality type. They don't really know how to find exactly what it is that they're looking for. If you're in a situation where you're unhappy or you feel like you're walking on eggshells, for whatever the reason is, whether it's in your personal life or in your business life, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do is just remain in that situation for an extended period of time and continue to blame the other people that are involved in the situation. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and make a decision. Now, where is this coming from right now? I just came home from an event, and I just happened to get into a random conversation with a young guy. He's 24 years old. We were just there talking, and I asked him what he does. So he told me, he gave me a breakdown exactly what it is that he does for a living. Now, me being the person that I am, I love to ask questions. So I just kept asking questions, and I was just genuinely asking questions because I was trying to get a clear understanding of exactly what it is that he does. I'm just a very curious person. So as he kept going and explaining and going deeper and deeper, eventually he got to a point in the explanation where I asked him, okay, so then basically when you get to that point, then you're able to assess this, and then you can relay that information back to your company. He said, that's not my job. And I paused and I said, huh? He said, no, that's not my job. My job stops right before there. That's their job. And I said, okay, I understand that. But from what you're explaining to me, it sounds like you're also capable of taking the data that you're collecting and making an assessment and delivering additional value back to your company. He said, yes, I am capable of doing that, but it's frowned upon. And he said, I've done something like that before, and the people in my company didn't take, too kindly to it. Now, I don't know the guy that well. I don't know how he delivered the information back to his company or the person that was in charge. I'm not really clear on what the situation was. But then we ended up getting into a conversation, and he was expressing to me just how he felt about the position he was in. He brought up his parents, and he also brought up, the situation at his job. So from there, I just, just something hit me, and I just felt like just really having a very, very straight up conversation with the guy and just really telling him what my perspective was for whatever reason. I don't know why it just came out, but it came out. And then I just explained to him that, look, man, I'm 45, you're 24, okay? I've lived, 20 years, 21 years more than you. And I told him, what I could tell you right now is this, bro. I asked him, are you married? He said, no. He laughed. I said, do you have kids? He said, no. And I explained to him, you see this stretch right here that you have? You're not going to get this again. If you have any aspirations to be a husband, any aspirations to be a father, once you cross over into that territory, all this extra time that you have, you're not going to have that anymore. Your time is going to be chopped up. It's going to be divvied up. You're going to have to make sure you have time for your kids. You're going to have to make sure you have time for your wife if you want to have a healthy family life. Now you're going to have to learn how to balance and make sure that you're able to be a lot more productive with less time. So I explained to him that if you're not happy in the situation that you're in, if you feel like the environment is toxic, if you feel like you're underutilized, if you feel like you have a lot more to bring to the table and there's something else that you want to do, you need to go and start to figure out how you're going to make that happen for yourself. Because the problem is, if you continue to remain in the situation that you're in, and you're saying, well, I wanted to do this, but my parents said otherwise. I wanted to do this, but then this person, my company said otherwise. What you're going to find now is that you're in a situation where you're unhappy, and what you're doing is you're pointing the finger at everybody else. At some point, you have to look in the mirror. And that's what I told the guy. At some point, bro, you have to look in the mirror. You have to look in the mirror and just be honest with yourself. Just be real with yourself about what's going on here. There's only so long you're going to be able to blame your parents, and there's only so long you're going to be able to blame the people at your job that are in charge. At some point, you're going to have to go and you're going to have to start looking for an environment that is conducive to what it is that you're looking for. Don't mess up what you're doing at your current job. If they want you to just do one specific thing and they don't want you to go outside of that, it is what it is. That's what you're in right now. See it through and do a great job. But in the meantime, you need to go and try to figure out what you're going to do next, and make sure that the next thing you get into, whether it's starting your own business or it's working for someone else, that you do a proper evaluation of the culture and the environment, and make sure that whatever it is that you have to offer to them, that they are truly prepared to utilize you to the fullest extent of your capabilities, and that the culture matches with who you are as a person and exactly what it is that you're looking for. I don't know that I could let someone walk out the door if their personality and their character and just who they are as a person, their problem solving skills, their willingness to continue to work hard to solve a problem, despite how challenging it is, if they show that grit and that toughness, that mental toughness and that willingness to just see things through, I don't know if I could let that person walk out the door, even if they're overqualified for the position. I have to figure that one out and try to find a way to be able to get that person to be a part of my organization. People like that are rare. They're very, very rare. And when you come across people like that want to be a part of something, and they don't necessarily have the desire to go and build their own thing, or maybe if they do have the desire to go and build their own thing, they also have the desire to spend some time with you and work together with you and build something great with you before they move on and go build their own thing. And if they're honest with you about that, and you can set out a plan for how long you're going to be able to work together and put together a plan for a smooth transition for when it's time for them to move on or for somebody else to come in and fill their role, then I think it could be a fantastic relationship, even if it's not going to last for a very long time. But in general, that conversation that I had with that young guy, that's what really sparked me to want to record this tonight. And I'm just getting back from the event. It was a great event. And, it was an opportunity to be in a room with some founders and VCs and money managers. And I had an opportunity to see a company that's already out there do a pitch live for everyone to see. And it was really cool what these guys did, because they opened themselves up to critique and criticism and suggestions, what they could do to make themselves better, from a VC that was there that spoke, which is, someone that I know very well, Invest with John. And he gave these guys fantastic feedback. And then the person that was putting on the event, he gave them fantastic feedback. So that was pretty cool. But that conversation with that young guy is what really stood out to me, because he represents so many people. He represents a large percentage of young people that are in that age group right there, where they just left high school or they just left college and they're out there trying to figure it out and they're working, and they just don't really understand how to properly find the situation that matches up with their skill set and their personality type. They don't really know how to find exactly what it is that they're looking for. And the willingness to say no to one situation while you keep trying to find the situation that's the right fit. When you're young like that and you haven't gone through things and you don't have a lot of experience, sometimes it could be difficult to be self-aware, to really fully understand, this is what I need right now. This is what is the most important thing for me to be doing with my time right now while I have all this time on my hands. Because when you're young like that and you don't have all of those responsibilities yet, and you could literally just go at it from morning to night, pull all-nighters, and just go at it again, take naps during the day. You just don't have the set of responsibilities that someone that has a family and kids has. that's the time for you to really, really, truly get after it. So whatever your aspirations are, whatever your dreams are, that's the time for you to really, truly get after it. If you want to be a part of a startup, but not necessarily a founder, you need to get into those environments. Go to the conferences, go to the events and listen and learn and ask questions and just meet people. That's how you're going to be able to find your tribe. That's how you're going to be able to find the right people to team up with and partner with. It's not just about going and searching for a job and submitting a resume. You just have to understand what it is you want to do and get out there and network and meet people. And that's really how you're going to be able to find the right situation for yourself. Because when you meet people and you give yourself an opportunity to really talk to people, get to know them. Don't be in a rush. You don't have to chase. Just because you met someone that has something going on for themselves and they're successful already and you're not there yet, it doesn't mean you have to chase them and put yourself up underneath them and then now allow your life energy and your talent and your creativity to be usurped. And then you just feel drained and used by the time it's all said and done. You don't have to put yourself in that position. All it takes is a little bit of patience and self-awareness and just respect for yourself, your talent, your gifts, and the fact that you've been blessed with life just like they've been blessed with life. And you have an opportunity to go and try to figure out what's the highest and best use of your time based on the gifts and the talent and the potential that you have as well. So you can be patient. It's like a relationship. If you really study relationships and interactions and when people meet, a lot of times you'll notice that when one person is just smothering the other person and they're just rushing and it's just too much too soon, they just turn the other person off. It's the same situation in business. You don't have to chase and rush, because then you look desperate and it makes it look like you don't have anything going on. And then the more you chase and the more you chase and the more you chase, you might chase the wrong person. And then that person says yes and then puts you in a position. And then you're in that position trapped for a while. And you're just getting all your talent used up. And you don't really get much out of it. If you're really wired to be a business owner, you're really wired to be a founder, you're really wired to be independent and be someone that blazes your own trail, it's very important that you go after that, especially when you're young, because that's when you have the opportunity. You don't have all of those responsibilities yet. The big bills aren't hitting you. You haven't sunk yourself into a tremendous amount of debt. You're not dealing with a lot of the major life problems yet that people really start to get into when they hit their 30s and their 40s and so forth. So use that time to your advantage and go after it and explore it and just try your best not to be that person that puts themselves in a situation. You're waking up every day, that alarm goes off, you're dreading it. You're driving to work, you're dreading it. You're at work, you're dreading it. And then you just continue on that cycle week after week. Now, there's a different set of people that absolutely love their jobs. They love it. They're in the right environment. It's a healthy environment. It's a great culture. They're part of a team. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who know that's not where you belong. You either need to be a part of another team. You need to be a part of a completely different culture. You need to be you need to be in a place that when you walk in there, your energy is just sky high because you know everything that you have to offer is appreciated. You're not being shut down. You're not being cut off. You're not being belittled and pushed into the corner so your light can't shine. You're in a place where if your light shines bright and you outshine the position that you're in, they're ready to upgrade you and put you in a new position where you can help the organization even more. That's the type of place that you have to put yourself when you are someone that has the talent and the skill and the drive and the ambition to want to be someone that is a problem solver, and you want to be someone that wants to figure out their highest and best use of their time and what their maximum potential is. When you're wired like that, either go build a business or be a part of something, be a part of a business that's going to appreciate your skills, where you're going to be able to be a happy person. They're going to appreciate you. And I can't even begin to tell you how important that is. It's all about people at the end of the day. It's all about people. Trust and believe. I could speak on that from firsthand experience. This what I'm talking about right now. I've had this conversation with someone that I work with right now who left a different situation and decided that they wanted to come and work with us just because of the culture that we have. Just strictly because of the culture. Because we actually care about her. If she's sick, we care about her. We're checking in on her, see how she's doing. If something is going on with her family, we care. We're asking, we're following up. We genuinely care about her as a person. And that's just how it is all the way across our organization. It's about people first. So when you have an environment like that and you have a culture like that, but we're also hard workers and we're problem solvers, and, we don't stop until we do what is required that needs to be done in order to get the transaction closed. We commit ourselves to our job at a very, very high level, but we're all, at the end of the day, we're all very humble. We're all open to taking criticism from each other, because everybody in the organization understands from top to bottom that if you're getting criticism, it's not about you as a person. It's just about the job that you're doing. And it's about the fact that I see that there's something that you could do better that can help this organization to go to a different level. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it's about. It's not personal. It never comes from a bad place. And, it starts at the top of the organization. Like they say, the fish rots from the head. So if the person that's running the organization is setting a bad tone, then that's the way the whole organization is going to run. And vice versa, if they're setting a great tone, that's how the organization is going to run. The culture is going to be representative of the people that sit at the top of that organization. So when you're a leader and you're running an organization, you have to make a decision exactly what type of company it is that you want and what you bring into that organization every single day. Are you fair? Are you honest? Are you asking people to do something that you're not willing to do yourself and you've never done yourself? Or are you the type of person that you've gotten your hands dirty and people within your organization have seen you solve that same problem, see you be relentless, stay up late, wake up early, go nonstop, go into overdrive until you solve that problem? And then so when you turn around and you ask somebody to do the same thing, can they look to you now and say, you as a leader, I've seen you do the same exact thing that you're asking me to do. So I'm ready and I'm willing to lay it out on the line and do this and get this done for you too, because I respect you. You've earned my respect. That's what it's all about. Don't ask people to do things that you're not willing to do and you've never done either, because I don't think that people are going to respect you if you do that. So if you want to build a great organization, you want to build a great culture, don't do to that kid what he explained to me that was being done to him, where his voice, where his talent is being stifled. And if he even comes in and makes a suggestion about what he observed when he was doing that specific role in his job that is frowned upon and is discarded, and he's advised not to do that because that's not his role. I don't want to hear that. That's essentially what he explained to me that's being done to him. If he was being forthcoming and there isn't pieces of information that he was leaving out, then the information I gave to him in response is exactly what he needed to hear. And that's pretty much what he told me. He said, I read it exactly, and he knows everything that I'm telling him is exactly true. And he does need to look in the mirror. He explained that to me. So the way that he took it very, very well. And, I'm hoping that, he can find it in himself to do what he feels is best for him. If he feels that it's best for him to move on and go find another job and be in a different culture that's more representative of who he is as a person, then that's what he needs to do. If he feels like he needs to go back now and go back down that road of being a founder, being a business owner that he was advised not to do by his parents, then that's what he needs to do. He's only 24 years old. This is the time to do it. If he doesn't do it now, I'm not going to say now or never. I would never say that, because I'm someone that tried in my 20s. It worked, and then it stopped working. I tried in my 30s. It worked, and then it stopped working. And I'm back at it in my 40s. It worked and it's still working. And a lot of the lessons that I learned in my 20s and my 30s, I'm applying that now in my 40s. And I understand better how to read the market and see the shifts that are coming and how to, create contingency plans for different things that could potentially happen. I understand the importance of building while you're in a down market. So when the market changes, your business is going to explode coming out of the change. I understand why it's important not to overburden the company with unnecessary expenses and to make sure that you're managing things in a fiscally responsible way. These are all the things that came from my early lessons. I understand how important it is to stay humble and always be respectful, regardless of who you're communicating with. Whether you consider that person to be above you or you consider that person to be below you. I don't really like to use that terminology, below you, but that's the only way that I could describe it right now. So whoever you're communicating with, whether you feel like you have power over that person or that person has power over you, don't change who you are. Be the same person in every situation. In my opinion, I'm speaking from my perspective because I can only speak from Kalil's point of view. I can't speak from somebody else's point of view because I don't know what it feels like to be another person. So the people that's wired like me, that have the same moral or compass that I have, that have the character that I have, or the similar to what I have, and the core values that are similar to what I have, the best advice I could give you, stay humble, keep learning. Don't ever feel like you've learned enough, because the moment you feel like you know everything, that's when you're going to stop learning. Stay humble, stay in learning mode. Find a way to keep yourself grounded. Find a way to always remind yourself it's not all about you. But don't let your humility impact your confidence. You can balance both out. You can be extremely confident. I mean, irrationally confident, where you feel like you could do anything, but you could also be very humble while you're on that journey and you're interacting with people. It's possible to do both, and one doesn't have to impact the other. You won't execute it perfectly every single day. You're going to have your moments, but it's not about the one-off moments. What are you doing 90% of the time? And then also be humble enough to admit when you're wrong and take accountability for that. Admit your mistakes. If you want to celebrate the victories and you want to take the responsibility for the victories, then you have to be willing to step up to the plate and also take responsibility for the failures and the problems that take place. So in general, I'm going to wrap this up. Make sure, please, if you're in a situation that you're unhappy in, I'm not telling you just pull the plug and destroy your revenue, or pull the plug and destroy a relationship, destroy a friendship, destroy a marriage. That's not what I'm saying to do. But if you're in a situation where you're unhappy, please work on it. Find a way to work on it. If you're going to stay in the situation, speak up. Have a real conversation with the people that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis and see if you could find a way to have a meeting of the minds and find a way to make it work. If you can't, you have to start to look for a different situation. Because if you stay in that toxic situation, please don't continue to point the finger at the other people that are in the situation and blame it on them, because that's your decision now. Once you've identified that the situation is toxic, if you continue to remain in it and just keep talking about it, talking about the people, this person did this to me, it's this person's fault, and it's because I wanted to do this, but this person stopped me. No, don't do that. Take responsibility for the fact that you're remaining in the situation longer than you should have remained in it for. Look in the mirror and just be honest with yourself, and then go and figure it out. It's a big world. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of business owners and a lot of companies that's constantly looking for great people. If you truly feel that you're a great person, go out there and look around and find the right home, find the right situation for yourself. And if you do that, in the end, I guarantee you, you're going to be very, very happy.